Like many, this is a domestic violence case that continued to escalate despite efforts to get protection from the law.
According to Frederick County Sheriff's Department.
Sunday, 52-year-old Danny Ray Sidders Jr. was shot and killed by a woman he'd been living with in this Mount Airy home. Sidders was a disgraced ex-police officer from Orlando, Florida, with previous charges in that state for domestic violence, according to court records dating back to 2012.
According to court records,
here in Maryland, his partner had been granted 2 protection orders from him since August of 2020. The most recent order from 2021 was still in effect, ordering Sidders to leave the house, surrender all guns, and stay away from the woman here. Court records warn Sidders had prior law enforcement training, prior domestic violence convictions, and was a narcissist being treated with medications and who had a support animal. After the shooting, Frederick County investigators reported the woman cooperated with the investigation and sat for hours of interviews. She was not charged. Tiffany Santana is executive director of Bethany House of Northern Virginia, a shelter for victims. She calls for tougher enforcement of protective orders, but says even with shortcomings, victims should still turn to courts and the law for help.
The only way that really we can do anything as far as prosecuting people who commit domestic violence or any other crime is by working through the system and having things documented through the system.
Santana says the safest solution is always to get away and seek safe shelter like Bethany House, but she acknowledges some victims will seek weapons.
How do you feel about victims arming themselves?
That's not always the ideal, but what we do know about domestic violence is that it always escalates. If a particular victim feels like they've done everything that they can through the system and they need to make sure that they have an additional layer of protection, sometimes that's an option for people.
Domestic deaths here in Maryland are at their highest level in 14 years, according to Maryland's Network Against Domestic Violence. 37 intimate partners and 5 bystanders were killed in this state in 2021. In Frederick County, Scott Broom, WUSA 9.